just sitting on the porch, nice cup of coffee, was cool, and you hear commotion, but you really don't take it in because it's not your commotion and it's not happening to you. Shortly after that, I saw police everywhere, and I just stayed on my porch.
"50-year-old Christy Martin was known by all who loved her as a radiant light, vivacious, nurturing, and full of joy. Her presence was magnetic. She had a way of lighting up a room with her signature smile and infectious laughter. To be around Christy was to feel uplifted. Her warmth and kindness made her not just a beloved friend and family member, but someone people were naturally drawn to. She deeply valued her time with loved ones, especially her children, including her 22-year-old son, Tony Martin Jr., who still lived at home. Christy's bond with her family was a central part of her life, and she embraced motherhood with pride and unwavering love. Having dedicated years to hard work, Christy had recently begun turning her attention toward new passions. According to her Facebook posts, she found joy in traveling, trying out new restaurants, learning Spanish, and sightseeing, hobbies that reflected her curious, adventurous spirit and zest for life. From the outside looking in, things seemed to be going well for Christy. She was enjoying life, exploring new interests, and cherishing her relationships. But in a heartbreaking twist of fate, everything changed. What followed would send shockwaves through her community and leave those who knew and loved her struggling to make sense of a sudden and devastating tragedy. Shortly before 11 a.m. on September 21st, 2022, officers with the Northwoods Police Department were dispatched to the 1100 block of Edgewood Boulevard in the city of Northwoods following reports of a shooting. Upon arrival, officers discovered an unresponsive adult female at the scene, suffering from what appeared to be a gunshot wound.
The shooting happened yesterday morning on Edgewood Boulevard in Northwoods. Our Laura Barczewski talked with the neighbors who say this was not the first time.
The victim has been identified as 50-year-old Christy Martin, a beloved member of the community, who was tragically pronounced dead at the scene after suffering a fatal gunshot wound to the chest. The suspect, heartbreakingly, was revealed to be her own son. 22-year-old Tony Martin Jr., despite being old enough to live independently, Tony had been allowed by his mother to stay in her home, a gesture of compassion and support that would ultimately cost her life. According to authorities, the fatal incident unfolded during what should have been a routine moment. The two were reportedly putting away groceries when a disagreement escalated. In the midst of the argument, Christy is said to have reached out and grabbed her son's arm in an attempt to turn him around. It was at that moment that Tony allegedly pulled out a firearm and shot her once in the chest, the single round proving deadly. News of the shooting sent shockwaves throughout the neighborhood. One neighbor, who was home at the time, described the eerie stillness and confusion that followed. Although he didn't hear the gunshot itself, he recalled the chilling aftermath. Police swarming the area, the street cordoned off with crime scene tape, and the Martin family members arriving in tears. "It was just heartbreaking," the neighbor said. "Everyone was outside, confused, scared. It didn't feel real." Many in the community admitted to having kept their distance from Tony Martin Jr. in recent months, concerned by his increasingly erratic and alarming behavior. Reports from neighbors painted a disturbing picture. On several occasions, Martin Jr. had been seen recklessly firing a gun into the air. One particularly frightening incident involved him allegedly pulling a firearm on his own grandmother after she had simply asked him to move his car so she could park. After that, several residents chose to avoid any interaction with him entirely, fearing for their safety and the safety of their families. In the wake of Christy Martin's death, the community is left grappling with a painful and perplexing question. What could possibly drive a son to shoot his own mother, and in broad daylight? Was this the result of long-standing tension or unresolved family issues? Could the tragedy have been prevented? Speculation continues to swirl. Some believe the shooting may have been intentional, while others suggest mental health struggles or possible substance abuse could have played a role. Questions continue to mount. Why was Tony Jr. carrying a firearm around his mother's home? Was she aware of it? Had he ever threatened her before? And most haunting of all, was this truly an accident or something far darker? Adding to the confusion, a family member close to the situation insisted that there are two sides to every story and cautioned the public against making assumptions. Even Tony's own brother, Christy's other son, described the shooting as accidental, further dividing opinion and deepening the mystery. As the investigation continues, the only person who can truly provide clarity is Tony Martin Jr. himself. Until he speaks openly about what happened that day, those closest to Christy Martin are left searching for answers, hoping for truth, closure, and some measure of peace after an unthinkable loss.
Just sitting on the porch, a nice cup of coffee was cool, and you hear commotion, but you really don't take it in because it's not your commotion and it's not happening to you. Shortly after that, I saw police everywhere, and I just stayed on my porch.
St. Louis County Police say just before 11 Wednesday morning, Tony Martin Jr. was arguing while putting away groceries with his mom, Christy Martin, when she touched his arm to get him to turn around, and he shot her in the chest, killing her.
I didn't hear anything as far as like the shots, but then the aftermath, the whole street was blocked off. Police and everybody was outside, and the family was over here. So it was kind of real upsetting to hear what had happened.
Police say Christy was dead when they arrived at the house. Neighbor Glenn Williams says he stayed away from Martin because he was worried for his family's safety.
It worried me a couple times because he actually was outside. Nobody was out here. He's shooting in the sky. And then the one guy that lives where the umbrella is said that he pulled a gun on his grandmama.
Williams says he has no idea how someone could do that to their mom.
I wouldn't think that you would pull it on your mom. You know, somebody that's taking care of you, you staying in her house, so really it shouldn't have been an argument at all. Whatever she said should have just been the final word.
Neighbor Lewis Brooks says he didn't know them well, but it's a very sad situation for the neighborhood.
It's just a tragedy that that young man took a turn in the worst. My heart goes out to the family.
22-year-old Tony Martin Jr. has been formally charged with second-degree murder and armed criminal action in connection with the fatal shooting of his mother, 50-year-old Christy Martin. Authorities took him into custody immediately following the incident. A judge has since set his bond at $250,000. As the legal process unfolds, the community continues to mourn the devastating loss and search for answers in the wake of this heartbreaking tragedy. The tragic death of Christy Martin serves as a reminder that love and compassion alone cannot always protect us from harm. Even when that harm comes from those closest to us, it highlights the importance of recognizing warning signs, setting boundaries, and taking threats seriously, no matter who they come from. This also shows the devastating consequences of unaddressed mental health issues and unchecked violence within families. Ultimately, it is a heartbreaking example of how domestic violence doesn't always come from a partner. Sometimes it comes from within the very family we try to protect. Rest in peace, Christy Martin.